walked away from a conversation and just thought, that's not what I meant, or I don't think they understood me? Most of us think that we're good listeners because we wait our turn to talk. We nod when we're supposed to, we smile when it's appropriate. But listening and understanding are not the same thing. Today we're going to talk about active listening. It's harder than it sounds. But this is a skill that can transform many of the types of conversations that you have on a daily basis. Hi, my sweet friends. Welcome back to the Study Home, where we're exploring practical skills that help build stronger relationships. Today's topic is one of the most important communication skills that you can develop. It's active listening. This skill is useful anytime you are talking to another person, anytime that you are trying to communicate your ideas and receive their ideas. Active listening helps people feel understood, heard, and respected. Active listening is not about remaining silent and allowing the other person to speak. And it isn't about agreeing with everything the other person says. And it's definitely not just waiting for your turn to talk. It's about understanding the other person's perspective as accurately as possible before you make the decision of how you are going to proceed. When someone is talking, your brain is incredibly busy. It's comparing their story to your experience. It's deciding whether you agree with them or not. It's looking for solutions. And sometimes it's planning on what you're going to say or how you're going to respond to them. None of those things are bad, but they don't effectively lead into your ability to actively listen to their perspective. So let's think about if your child comes to you and says, "Nobody likes me." As a parent, you might be tempted to just jump into correcting that, say, "That's not right." But the child then doesn't feel heard because you didn't take the time to actually stop and listen to what they said. Even if your response is correct, they don't feel heard. If you're actively listening to your child in this situation, you would be curious. You would follow up with questions like, "What makes you feel that way?" Or, "Did something happen?" Maybe nothing's happened and they just need the reassurance that everything's okay. The words matter, but the emotions underneath that drove the person to say those words means more. So, how do you actively listen? There are 6 components to active listening. The first is pay attention. The first thing that you're going to do is pay attention. You're not just going to be focused on them, you're going to show them that you're focused. You're going to do that by setting aside distractions, possibly adjusting your body language, and when it's appropriate, make eye contact. Those are all outward things that you're going to be doing, but you're also going to be monitoring your own thoughts to see what distracts you and keeps you from focusing on the other person. And then as those distractions come up, you negate them or move the conversation to another location. You're also going to pay attention to your internal distractions. Notice when your thoughts begin to wander and bring them back to the conversation. The next thing is you're going to hold judgment. This means that if the person says something that you don't believe or agree with, you don't have to just nod along and pretend that everything's fine. And this is not the time to try to change their mind. What you do first is you set aside your thoughts. You hold your judgment. This is where curiosity comes in. You aren't trying to decide if they're right or wrong. What you're trying to understand is how they came to their conclusion. You're trying to see things through their perspective. To understand their perspective, you're going to go to the next step, which is to reflect. This is where you're going to repeat back the things that you heard as you understand them. So, for example, you might say something like, "So it sounds like you've been feeling ignored." Reflection allows the other person to correct misunderstandings before they become assumptions. So you've just stated what you've heard. The next step is to clarify. This is where you ask the questions. This is not meant to be an interrogation. It's just meant to clarify some of the points that you may have misunderstood. Some examples of things that you might say are tell me more, or can you explain this, or help me to understand where this is coming from. Once you clarify, you're going to summarize. This is very similar to the reflect, but instead of reflecting back on what was just said, we're going to summarize your understanding of the conversation. Summarizing prevents people from talking past each other. And the last step is to share your perspective. What was your perspective going into the conversation, or how have you evolved since the beginning of the conversation? Up until this point, your focus has been completely on the other person, what they're saying, and trying to understand their perspective. This is your time to voice your concerns, offer your solutions. You can brainstorm together, or you could just disagree. Not every conversation has to end in an agreement, but it is important to end in an understanding. One of the biggest reasons that conflicts escalate is not because people disagree, it's because they don't feel that their side has been heard. When someone truly believes that you have attempted to understand them, they're usually much more willing to hear what you have to say. Active listening does not eliminate disagreement. It creates a foundation of understanding, and in that foundation, disagreements can be resolved respectfully. During your next important conversation, I want you to remember to set aside distractions. Resist the urge to jump into solution mode. You don't have to offer solutions, especially before you understand the other person's perspective of the problem. Ask more questions. Reflect back on what you heard, and then ask, did I understand that correctly? Summarize the conversation the way you understood it, and then share your perspective. Active listening is not about becoming passive or simply agreeing with the other person. It is not about withholding your own opinions or trying to modify your opinions. It's about making sure that the other person feels heard and understood, and you understand their perspective. Whether you're strengthening your marriage, your parenting, or your relationships at home or work, active listening will be a beneficial skill for you to practice. It is hard, but it gets easier over time. The more you do it, the easier it gets. If you found this helpful, leave a like or comment. And as always, take what helps and leave the rest. I'll see you in the next one.